Om Shuklam Bharadharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannabadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vignopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhirbhavatu me sada Yenakshara samamnayam Adhigamya maheshwarat Kritsnam vyakaranam proktam Tasmai paninaye namaha Vakyakaram vararuchim Bhashyakaram patanjalim Paninim sutrakarancha Pranatosmi munitrayam Vagarthaviva sampraktau Vagarthah pratipattaye Jagatah pitarau vande Parvati parameshwarau Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So namaste to everyone. Nice to see all of you from all over. So in our warm-up, I just pulled up this sheet that we were working on last time. And so I was asking about number. So just before we start this, let's go over our mental kind of GPS. Locate where we are. So do it with me. We start, the foundation of Sanskrit is a vakyam, sentence. Vakyam is made up of padani, words. There's two types of padani, tingantam padam and subantam padam. So verb and noun. Verb, tingantam padam, is made up of dhatuhu and ting pratyayaha. Noun is made up of pratipadikam and supratyaya. Okay, so now we are looking at ting pratyaya. So in a verb, dhatu and ting pratyaya. Now within the ting pratyaya, it can denote number, vachanam, and person, purushaha. Okay, so this chart, we should be very clear about where we are and what we're doing, and that this all makes sense, okay? So in number, vachanam, we have three numbers. We have eka vachanam. So number one, the answer for number one will be dvi vachanam. And the answer for number two will be bahu vachanam. Okay, now I colored in third person singular. So an example for third person, so pratama purusha eka vachanam will be he, she, it, apples, tree, cat, dog, etc. Okay, an example. So then I've colored in number four. So second, madhyama purusha bahu vachanam. So you see number four on the screen. So number four, the example is you all, right? Because it's second person, so you, and then bahu vachanam, so you all. Okay, then I colored in number five. So I said colored in first person, so uttama purusha, then dvi vachanam. So uttama purusha, so I think we, and duo, dvi vachanam. So we too. Okay, so that was just warming up our brain about vachanam, which is under ting pratyaya, okay? So let's continue with that. And let me know if you have any questions in the meantime. We were looking at the ting pratyayas for present tense. So if we go, let's, so you can open your workbook. This is workbook page 12. Workbook page 12. And at the top of the page, you will see this chart. Now, we did some of this chart last time, but we'll continue with this chart. Okay, so as a reminder, right, we have vachanam and we have purusha. So, okay, so vachanam, so we have eka vachanam, we have dvivachanam, and then we have bahuvachanam. Okay, if you already have this filled out, maybe you can take out an empty piece of paper and you can write it along with me. Then we have pratama purusha, which is our English third person. We have madhyama purusha, which is our English second person. Oh. And then we have uttama purusha. Oh, that's not that clear. Let me get rid of that. Uttama purusha. Okay. Okay, so we have our vachanam at the top, and then around this column, we have all the purusha, pratama, madhyama, and uttama purusha. So when we're looking at pratama purusha, so third person singular, pratama purusha eka vachanam, the pratyaya is ti. Pratama purusha dvivachanam is, say with me, taha. Pratama purusha bahuvachanam, anti. Okay, so ti, taha, anti. Ti, taha, anti. Madhyama purusha, so now we're talking about the listener, you. Madhyama purusha ekavachanam, si. Madhyama purusha dvivachanam, thaha. So that's mahaprana tha with visarga. So thaha. And then madhyama purusha bahuvachanam, tha. So repeat after me. Si, taha, tha. Si, taha, tha. Okay, then uttama purusha ekavachanam, right? I'm talking about a singular and uttama purusha, so it's me. I'm talking about me. So now we will never forget this one because it literally says what we're talking about. Me, I. Me, then vaha. And then the last one, uttama purusha bahuvachanam, maha. Okay, so I'm repeating this because this should be kind of ingrained into our brain. These 9 forms, 3 by 3. So okay, so let's all, you can repeat after me. Ti, taha, anti. Si, taha, tha. Mi, vaha, maha. Okay, so I encourage you to continue like looking at this after the class so it comes to your memory, okay? So we'll continue. So this is what it looks like. This is in your book, page 33, in your textbook, page 33, your white book. So in case you want the final forms in more of a clear way. Okay, so now what we're doing is we're making verbs. And we know that verbs, another word for verb is tingantam padam. Is a verb is made up of two things, dhatuhu and ting pratyaya. Okay, so when we make that equation, we get a tinganta. When the dhatu is added though, the dhatu gets the status of anga and it changes. Okay, so here we have the dhatu bhu, then the anga is slightly different. It is bhava. And now we want to add those 9 forms that we just looked at. So keep that page 12 of your workbook up or page 33 of your textbook, and we're gonna add them together. So what we saw last time, so let me just, I'm just doing this in shorthand to save me time. So if I bhava plus ti, I get bhavati. So I can say Ramaha bhavati. Rama is, because I'm talking about someone else, namely Rama, and there's only one of him. So I can say bhavati. Now there's 2 Ramas. So Ramo bhavataha. So do you see what I'm doing? I'm adding this anga and I'm literally just combining it with the pratyas we just saw. Let me know if you have any questions. Bhava taha, or if you're lost where I am. You can private chat me and just say lost. Okay, so bhava taha. Yeah, so thanks to Harprasadji, I wrote these wrong. So this is, I'm kind of on autopilot, so let me erase this. So this should be 3rd person, 2nd, and 1st. See, that's classic mistake. Pratama Purusha, meaning first. So that's an example of what you should not be doing. It's classic. Okay. Okay, so now we're at 3rd person and then plural. Now here, it's a little bit more tricky than it looks. So I have bhava, and then I add anti. Now here what happens is I have, if I write in transliteration, it would look like this, bhava plus anti. Now notice how I have an akara meeting an akara. Okay, generally what happens here is that a plus a is a. Okay, in Sanskrit, that usually what happens. When you have 2 vowels that are the same, they become long. So usually what would happen is a plus a is a. So the final form would be bhavanti, bhavanti. But here, that doesn't happen. Okay, so here the rule is when I have a short akara, which is followed by a guna letter. Okay, so I have an akara followed by a guna letter, then the final result will be a guna letter. Now I know we haven't talked about guna letter, so what's a guna letter? So guna is just the name for 3 different letters. So guna is the letters a, and o. So it's just a name referring to these 3 letters, a, o. A, O. Okay, so I'm on page 33 of the white book and I'm doing bhava plus anti. Now bhava plus anti, I aka short akara plus a guna letter because I have one of the guna letters is akara. So I have akara plus one of the guna letters, then it equals to that guna letter that was following. So if I have a plus a, then it just equals a. So I have a plus this specific guna letter here, akara, and so it equals to akara. If I have a plus a, then it'll equal to a, that guna letter. Okay, so the second one is the substitute for both of them. Okay, so that's the real way of saying it. The easier way of remembering this is the second akara eats the first akara. It gets really hungry. So this is how I always remember this is akara. There's two of them. Then it gets really hungry and it eats this first akara. And then you get bhavanti, only one akara. Okay, so let me clear this. Let me know if you need that back up. So I have bhava plus anti equals to bhavanti. We can put that in our chart. Okay. So we can add that here. So we see how it's a little bit more complex than it seems. But, you know, even if you didn't completely follow that, it's pretty simple. Bhava plus anti is bhavanti. Okay, don't say bhavanti. Okay, so bhavati, bhavataha, bhavanti. Now, bhava plus, what is this one? What am I? See. I see you. Okay, I see you. Okay, so bhava, see. So if I want to say you are, I would say tvam bhavasi. Tvam bhavasi. You exist. You are. Right? This is bu, meaning to be. So this is just like is, are. So now we're making forms. This is called what we call conjugation. We're conjugating the verb. Okay? So in the chat, can you tell me what this next one is? Madhyama Purusha Dvivachanam. Yep. So it is. Yeah. Great. It is bhavataha. Bhavataha. And then bhavata. Okay, so this is very similar, but this doesn't have that visarga. The two dots aren't there. That makes a difference. So if I want to say we or you all, then I would say bhavata. If I want to say you two, I would say bhavata. You two are. Okay, so remember, first person singular is me. So bhava. Is it bhava me? No, it's not bhava me. So there's a new rule that we need to look at. Okay, let's look at the new rule. Now, here, so here, let's put 2 stars. Yeah, 2 stars, okay. So we need, this rule will apply to all 3 of these boxes. Okay, so now let's look at that two-star rule. The two-star rule is when I have an anga, the last akara of an anga, when it is followed by vakara or makara, this akara becomes long. Dirgaha. Okay, so when I have an akara at the end of an anga and it is followed by va or ma, that akara becomes long. Now, look at the case that we have here. We have bhava, and so we have an akara at the end, right? We have an akara at the end of the anga, and now we're adding mi. Now, here it's mi, right? Makara is first. So it's followed by makara. Even though in the script it looks like E is first, but mi, right? When you say mi, makara comes first. So this becomes long, and you get bhavami. Okay, so thumbs up if this makes sense. Can you give me a physical thumbs up? All right, looking in the camera. Okay, great. If it doesn't make sense, let me know in the chat. Okay, so bhava plus me, bhavami. Now, we can continue with that, right? So then, bhava plus vaha. So I have an akara at the end of an anga, and then I have a vakara. When I have akara followed by vakara, that is going to become long. Dirgaha. So then it becomes bhavavaha. Bhavavaha. Okay, now first person plural, I have bhava plus maha. Now let's look at this rule again, right? It says when anga, akara at the end of anga is followed by va or ma. So here I have bhava plus ma. So there's a makara. So it becomes long. So bhava maha. Oh, so this one here is written wrong. Should be like this. Bhavavaha and bhavamaha. Hopefully none of you guys were handwriting teachers because I get definitely minus 10 points for handwriting here. Using this digital pen, it's not very easy. So we're trying our best here. All right. So this is really exciting. It's really exciting because we've conjugated our first verb together, okay? So it might not look that exciting, but it's quite a big thing, okay? So within 5 classes, we're already conjugating the verb. So let's do it. So bhavami, bhavavaha, bhavamaha. Okay, so repeat after me. Bhavati, bhavataha, bhavanti. Bhavasi, bhavataha, bhavata. Bhavami, bhavavaha, bhavamaha. Okay, now close your eyes and say it. Bhavati, bhavataha, bhavanti, bhavasi, bhavataha, bhavata, bhavami, bhavavaha, bhavamaha. Okay, so if you weren't able to get that with your eyes closed, no problem, right? We're going to be doing this, a lot of practice with this, okay? But this is the goal. Let's bring in up a new verb. Okay, so if you look in your textbook, on page 32 of your textbook, there's a whole list of dhatus and angas. On page 32 of your white book, there's a whole list of dhatus and angas. Now we're going to continue with the next dhatu and just do more practice. So the next one is krish. Okay, so this is page 13, page 1-3 of your workbook. In page 13 of your workbook, you will get what I have on my screen. Krish. Okay, this is not Krish from the Hindi movie. It's not the superstar. This is Krish. Krish meaning to draw or to plow. Okay, I'm just fixing my wires here. Okay, so let's write that up here. So I have krish. We can write 1p. It means to draw or to plow. Okay, so like drawing a tree or drawing on a piece of paper or plowing. So plowing a field. Why they have the same dhatu? Not really sure, but it comes in those two meanings. Okay, so then let's just skip. We're going to skip these two. Wait, we'll come back to all of these things later on. Anga for krish is, so if you look at page 32, you can see what the anga is. It's on the right column. It's karsha. Karsha. Okay, shakaram, murdanya shakar. Your tongue should go up. Shanmuksha. Okay, karsha. Now let's okay, so I have ekavachanam, dvivachanam, bahuvachanam. I have pratama purusha, madhyama purusha, and uttama purusha. Okay, so I have karsha, and I want to say third person singular. Pratama purusha ekavachanam, I would have karsha plus ti, and I get karshati. So I can say Ramaha karshati. Rama draws. Okay. Then Pratama Purusha Dvivachanam. So I can say Karsha and then Taha. So Karshataha. That first letter is a kakara. It doesn't look like a kakara. Okay, so then we keep going. Karsha plus anti. Okay, now remember, I have an akara plus an akara. The second akara eats the first akara. Okay, guna letter replaces both. So karshan, oh, karshanti. Okay, so karshati, karshataha, karshanti. Now we have karsha plus si. Karsha, si. Right? It's as simple as adding the two, karsha and si. So if I want to say you draw, I would say tvam karshasi. You draw. Okay? Now we have madhyama purusha dvivachanam. So karsha, then taha. Oh, that looks like a bakara. Karsha taha. And then karsha, madhyama purusha bahuvachanam, karsha ta. Okay, now let's go down to this. Now I need help with this bottom line. Okay, can you tell me in the chat, Uttama Purusha Ekavachanam, what is the form in the chat? You can use capital A or two A's to signify long akara. Okay, getting some good answers here. All right, yep. So when I have akara followed by va or ma, that akara becomes dirgaha, right? So we get kar. So even if you know, and this is so simple, now take the next step and try to remember the rule, okay? So even if you've done this before, try to remember the rule. Imagine you are teaching this class, how would you explain it to someone else? Karishami. So nice to all those people who wrote in the chat. Saw a lot of good answers there. So karishami. Okay, so then this one also. Karsha. Is it vaha or maha? Vaha. Okay. And karshamaha. Okay, so here we finished our second verb conjugation. We've added an anga plus this sting pratyayas in present tense, and we've gotten these 9 forms. Karshati, karshataha, karshanti, karshasi, karshataha, karshata, karshami, karshavaha, karshamaha. Okay, so now I just want to quickly show you how to do the homework. Now, this is all the way at the end of the book. So if you open the end of the book, let's see what page it's on. This is page 161 in my book, page 161. It looks like on what's on the screen. All the way in the back of your white book, book 1, page 161, you will see exercise 1. Now, what they've done here is a little bit of the opposite. They've given you the final form. So it says bhavati. Now I see bhavati. So from the anga, I can go backwards and I can find out what is the dhatu. It says bhu, 1p, and I give the meaning, to exist. I see that ti, and so I know it's third person singular. Right? Ti is third person singular. Now in Sanskrit, what is third person called? Pratama Purusha Ekavachanam. So that's why it's the same thing, just written in Sanskritam here. Translation would be he, she, it is. Apple is, banana is. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's third person singular. If I do gachasi, the meaning would be you And then I know gum means to go, so I would say you go. Okay? If I want to say namami, it's nam means to bow, to prostrate. So me, so is first is a uttama purusha ekavachanam, first person singular. So I know it's I bow. I prostrate, I salute. Okay, does anybody have any questions with this homework and how this works? If you do, just give me a little question mark in the chat. Otherwise, this is your homework for next week, page 161. Fill out this whole sheet here. It shouldn't take too long, right? So you can even just do this, sometime in the morning. Like that's an ideal time to do it. But if you don't want to do it in the morning, then just find a good time to go through these forms. This is really important to do the practice. Okay. Finish here. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay, we'll come back in 5 minutes at 8:11 and we'll start our Vedanta class. Let me know in the meantime if you have any questions. I'll still be here, just turning off my camera.